So Marvel's at it again, making yet another Spider-Man movie. But this one is actually looking really promising.
You're losing it, kid.
I haven't been this excited for another Spider-Man movie for like a decade.
It seems like they're finally trying to represent Peter the way he's supposed to. And the reveal of the suit helped me being hopeful too. It's finally going back to Spidey's roots.
And man oh man, does it feel good.
So today I decided to remake this suit into a 3D model using Blender and show you my complete workflow for this. From sculpting the body, generating clean topology, adding suit details, all the way to the rigging, posing, and the final render.
Okay, so if you're ready, let's jump in.
We start with a simple base mesh. Nothing fancy, just correct proportions. You can use a base model or sculpt from scratch using a sphere or the legendary default cube if you enjoy pain and suffering.
This time I'm gonna use a base mesh to save some time. But no matter how you decide to sculpt,
use as many reference images as you can. Eyeballing anatomy is how monsters are born. Spider-Man's physique is lean, but as all superheroes, it is ultimately quite athletic.
that's why we're gonna aim for something more like a V-taper shape with clear muscle separation.
Narrow waist and cannonball shoulders.
I start by blocking major forms.
Using the grab brush for adjusting proportions, clay strips to add volume, and smooth to remove the chaos.
When you're sculpting, always think.
Big shapes first, details later. And remember, always keep a low resolution
Until a higher resolution is actually necessary.
I personally like to use multi-resolution for sculpting to keep the sculpt workflow non-destructive, but you can also use Dintapo for rough sculpting or voxel remesh for cleaner, more uniform geometry if that's your cup of tea. Now we turn sculpt chaos into animation-ready topology because animators deserve happiness as much as the next fellow artist. Topology is basically traffic control for deformation. If you don't do it properly, you're going to end up with unexpected accidents. Focus the edge loops around the general orientation of the volume, so around the shoulders, elbows, knees, and neck, for example. Spider-Man moves a lot, so the model deformation must be believable. When it comes to retopology, if you want to save yourself a lot of headache during this phase, I recommend using a retopology plugin. I personally like Retopo Flow, but there are many others out there too. Now for the suit accessories. Study the references carefully. The lens shape and curvature, as well as the thickness of the frame, will directly determine how the mask looks, while all the small details will be responsible for selling the level of realism that we want. As these are hard surface meshes, it's important to use tools like bevels, hardness levels, and modifiers like subdivision and solidify to our advantage. These will speed up the process and make sure you have more time to enjoy life.
Alright, after all the modeling is done, we're gonna go to the next step, which is UV unwrapping.
Oh, hell no! That's hell no!
I know, it's one of the most tedious and time-consuming parts of the process. But if you do a good job at it, you can drastically improve your textures. We're gonna mark all the seams according to the sewing pattern on the original suit as best as we can. After we're done,
Export the model as an FBX and bake its maps using Substance Painter.
this is the point where we're gonna start giving color to our character.
You can also do this in Blender, but overall, texturing is generally a bit easier in Substance. Here we are focusing on defining the base colors and roughness level, as well as making the fabric patterns of the suit, which will be overlaid on top. The microsurface detail in these will allow us to zoom in without having to worry about losing texture quality and sacrifice realism. Now we go back into Blender and plug our maps into our materials. We'll need the base color, roughness, metallic, and normal maps. We'll also use some shader node magic to combine our base values with the fabric micro detail to produce believable fabric. Now we'll go to everybody's favorite step, rigging. Generate a Rigify skeleton and align all of its bones to our model. Make sure you apply all of the transforms first, then generate the control rig and then bind it to the model. Select our mesh, then the control rig, press Ctrl P to parent and use automatic weights. We'll also add a corrective smooth modifier to make our lives easier and have a little help from the master of coding on our deformations. Test extreme poses. Spider-Man doesn't do subtle. I'm liking what we got, so I'll move on. But if after testing you still have problematic areas, smooth the weights until you're satisfied. Now this is where the magic happens. That's the secret ingredient to take your Spider-Man model from normal to movie level. We'll create 3D webbing for Spider-Man's suit. I like to start by selecting from the edges that already exist in the model space and duplicate it into a separate mesh. I'll then extrude until I have a nice contour of what I want. When modeling this, make sure you're using a shrink wrap modifier for the vertices to stick to the geometry of the suit. Then I add the skin modifier to give it depth, and the magic happens. The secret here is to keep the spacing consistent and to follow the body's contours. Small inconsistencies become very visible in renders. Trust me, I learned this the hard way. So we have pretty much finished our model now. But to showcase it, we should choose a dynamic pose for him. Spider-Man is the spirit of movement and action, so we'll pick something that suits him well. Let's also set up a nice looking studio scene to complement our model.
Pizza time.
And there we go. Your brand new, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. That's the full workflow I use for modeling this Spider-Man in Blender. I really hope you enjoyed watching. If this has helped or entertained you, drop a like and subscribe for more character modeling and animation.
I'm currently trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, so your help will be greatly appreciated.
Tell me in the comments what character I should model next.
And if you like this model and you want to use it, you can check my links down below. Alright, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it just as much as I did, and I'll see you next time. God bless.